Hey, what's up, dude? Hello, everyone. Welcome. Just messing around with my sound settings. I hope the sound levels are okay. If not, just let me know. So, I kind of like the concept of last stream, where I kind of try to recreate something in Blender, which was originally made in something else. So last time we did the I think the author claimed it was like a soft robot concept, and I can kind of see it. But that was made in Cinema 4D. And I have another thing that I would like to try to recreate today, which is a Houdini thing, I think. I think it's like a proper production tool made by Chevry_M. So I won't be creating any artwork today. It will be like trying to recreate this basic system. Not this though. I looked at this before and I was like, is this possible? It probably is, but I have no idea how to approach the overlapping over the overhanging part here. But I will try to create the first ribbons that were showcased in this video. These. So I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be too hard with Blender. So I'm thinking raycasting some. I'm thinking I'm gonna raycast like a plane or the sides of a cylinder around, and then use. I guess I could use an extra modifier like I could use the solidify modifier, I guess, but I want to do it completely with geometry nodes, so I'm thinking maybe some extrusions or something. And then the old trusty subdivision surface node to make it look good. But yeah, that's the plan. I have no idea how long this will take. It could take 10 minutes, it could take 2 hours, but I'll go as long as it takes. And if it's less than 2 hours, I will set up a scene too. Maybe something nice looking. We'll see. We'll take it as it comes. So my first plan was to... Okay, so I'm just gonna add a cylinder first to use as the object that we wrap around. And then I'm gonna use another cylinder as the base for the ribbons. I'll make it fairly big, not on the C though. Something like this maybe. Then I just want the sides. I don't want the top and bottom. And I probably want some extra geometry here in the middle too, I don't know. Because I think in their original, yeah, it kind of goes in the middle. There's this bend. So I think I need at least like, I guess one would be enough. One loop cut. But I think two is probably better. We'll see. I think I'll add two. Maybe just stretch them out a bit like this. Because then we have this part here that we can like, we can select it in Geometry Nodes, I guess, and then drag it in a bit. Get that look. Yeah, we'll see. So this would be the ribbon. So the Geometry Nodes modifier would be on the ribbon itself. Right, so I need a raycast, because I'm thinking if I raycast from the ribbon itself inwards towards the cylinder in the middle, and then just use the positions of that to like snug it around, almost like a shrink wrap modifier, just snug it around the object in the middle. So I would also need the actual cylinder in here. I just like that. You can just drag it in from everywhere. Just yoink. That's pretty cool. So this will be the target geometry that we're trying to hit. And we want to use the normals of this ribbon, which are pointing I always forget where you can see that. We have the face orientation, I guess. Is it because it's not in face mode? Oh, here it is. Normals, I think. Yeah, there. So we have the normals of the faces here. So if you just reverse the normals, we will have them pointing inwards instead. And we can use that to see if we hit anything inside the ring. So we need a normal. So if we just use the normal, it will be pointing straight out from these faces. And if we take the is hit viewer here, check this. Nothing hits, so that tells us that this is probably pointing in the wrong way. You can probably see if I move it around, you could probably see it starts hitting. Maybe not. It's relative, maybe. Yeah. So you can see these two faces are hitting now. They're pointing that way. I guess it needs to be relative for it to work. Yeah, the relative positions of both the objects, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So if we reverse this, I think you could just use like a... I haven't tried this. But you should be able to just use like a scale node, -1. And then, oop, yeah, that works. Yeah, we'll upload it. As soon as I'm done, it will be available on my channel. So if you want to watch it later, that's fine. Yeah, right now I have the normals from them. This is the norm. These are the normals from the band. So I want to reverse them with this, so they're pointing inwards. Because now they're pointing straight in, which means that they're hitting this object here, which is the this target geometry. Nope, it would use these normals here would be the normals of the actual geometry nodes object. I'm pretty sure, because if we do this, then nothing hits. If this was a cylinder normals, they would be hitting here. And if we reverse them, they would be going the opposite way. And then it still wouldn't hit, because if they don't hit when they go out, they won't hit when they go in. And they don't self-intersect, so... Oh yeah, I know Brad Animation. He knows a lot of geometry nodes. I think I have his the Bradley GN pack. I haven't tried it though, but it looks pretty cool. So yeah, we'll use the. You'll see that these are the normals of the this later, I think, because if I'm not mistaken, then I should be able to now use the positions that we hit and use that as the position of the band, because this set position is connected to the band geometry, which means that if we set this position here, we can use the hit positions of the Raycast. So I might be wrong, but I think this is how it works. I haven't used the Raycast much, so you might be right, but we'll see. If I plug this in here, then the band should be essentially wrapped around, exactly around the cylinder. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah. I'm glad that works. That's nice. Do you mean his presets? Yeah. I mean, he do show his presets a fair bit in his videos I've seen. But yeah, the reason that I don't use presets in my videos is because I kind of want to... Well, for one, I want to do it without any pre-made stuff. I like doing it from scratch, even if it's a lot more work. And for the purpose of my channel, which is aimed mainly at people that were like me when I first started out, like half a year ago, who knew nothing about geometry nodes, I kind of wanted to be a proper introduction where you just use the nodes that are available by default. Because I think it's better to learn the hard way first before you use like add-ons or presets. Once you know what you're doing, it's a really good idea to use presets and add-ons because it speeds everything up. But when you're learning, you really should focus on actually doing it the hard way first, because that's how you learn. And that's kind of how you, like in my case, when I did my first video about the fractals, that's all I knew. I didn't know anything else beyond that. But due to how I came to the conclusion of how it works when I made that video, I started learning pretty fast. Because that setup made me... I was kind of having some theories about how it might work, and since I had some theories that I could test, it kind of made it click a lot easier. Because then I'm like, okay, this worked like I thought it would, and this didn't. I wonder why. So kind of trying to predict the outcome of things before you try it out is probably a good idea. The new curve here, yeah, I've seen. I saw a picture of it. Looks pretty amazing. It's in the 3.2, right? So not the 3.1. Looks pretty wild. I haven't used it though. I'm kind of mistaken to 3.1 since it came out. What kind of math? I would say I honestly don't know. I don't know the English equivalent. But learning about science and really, you know, you have these basic add, subtract, multiply, divide, multiply, add. Pretty self-explanatory. The power and square root are pretty good to know, as well as exponent. And then some trigonometry is also good, I guess. It depends on what you want to do. I mean, I rarely use more than... I think I used like the modulo a fair bit, and the sine a fair bit, and of course the multiply. But a basic understanding of math is, of course, very good to have. I wouldn't say that I have that though. So for me, it's kind of hard when you're dealing with things like I did in my last video or in the tentacle video, where there was some math involved that I wasn't 100% on. It's in 3.2a, okay. Well, it will be coming to this release pretty soon then, I think. They're shipping out notes like it's Christmas almost. Okay, what else do I want to do here? Okay, so I guess I want to give it some thickness. So I was thinking about, I could use like a solidify, I think. Like this. But I want to do it in nodes, so I'm just going to do an extrude instead. And instead of doing the individual, I'll just use it like this. Pretty much the same thing. Though I think that removes the inside faces. Yeah, it does. So I kind of need to join them. No, not there. Here. So what I'm doing here, I'm rejoining the original geometry, because I think if I don't, yeah, then the inside disappears. And I want it to be a solid mesh, even though it's not considered a solid mesh, but it looks like a solid mesh. I think I need to merge them as well if I want it to be proper. Let's see, 20 rows. Yeah. So if I do this, I merge the vertices over here. Just like you would if you have two separate meshes, or you have removed a face and added a new face or something. You might have some duplicate vertices that you need to merge, and you can do that with this. It's the exact same thing as doing this, merge vertices by distance, and you get this. So a pretty powerful thing to have this, actually. Pretty cool. But yeah, I want to use this as the thickness. And I'm thinking maybe I could offset, because I want to get that, you know, the curve on the outside. I guess I could do that here, because I want the inside to be just properly on the wrapping object. But I guess I could use this here to kind of... Yeah, I think I can do that, because I can, if I select these the middle face ring here. I'm just gonna hide the cylinder. So if I select this middle face ring on the outside, then I should be able to do that with this. Yeah, we'll try. So another set position, maybe scale, now that I think about it. Could that work? So I want this. Yeah, this might be the way to go. So we select the top, so we only have the outside faces here. Then I guess we could select, because there's this thing called Boolean math, which is pretty cool. So you can say that select this here and something else. If both of those are true, then do it. Otherwise, don't. Well, I'm trying to make. I'm trying to recreate this system here, because I thought it looked like a cool thing. So self-wrapping ribbons, pretty much. And we have the wrapping, pretty much. So this is a bit of styling. But yeah, I want to use the faces in the middle here, so I'm thinking face area. No. Edge angle can maybe? Yeah, this might work. Because if I use the edge angles, this here would be like 90. Or somewhere around 90. So if we just select faces that are... yeah, we'll try. So here I'm going to use a compare. Yeah, compare. So I think it would be something like this. Just gonna add the scaling a bit. So this is selecting everything. I think if I... Not quite what I wanted. That's a shame. There it is. So something like this would be the way to go. Right? Extra noodles? Always an extra serving of noodles. Yeah, something like this. Maybe 0.975. Just a subtle curve on the ribbon. Because what I'm doing here, I'm taking the edge angles. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is in radians. You're probably right. Let's see. Yeah, it probably is, yeah. This is less than 1. You're probably right. Something like this, and then just drop some a subdivision surface here to make it a bit smoother, and then a set shade smooth to make it extra smooth. So yeah, something like this would probably be the basic thing. So we can move it around a bit. Of course, it looks pretty weird if you go outside. So I guess if we make it a bit bigger, we can move it around more. But yeah, I think this should be the basic system, right? And I can adjust it here. This here, yeah. Bit more of a curve. Pretty cool. Now, the question is, how well does it handle things like... This won't look good at all, but let's say if we have something like this. I wonder. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that you need to keep it kind of centered inside it for it to work, because otherwise you will get things like this. Because the thing is, if the Raycast node here, if this doesn't hit anything, then this hit position here will be 0. So it will go straight to the middle. So yeah. I can rotate it, yeah. I was just about to try see if it follows along. Kinda does. So I need to thicken up a bit for it to work around these edges here. So let's do that. It's just this extrude mesh here. Drink. Some extra thick ribbons. Huh. Kinda like it, to be honest. Though I think I need to soften these edges a bit. I'm raycasting, let's see, if I remove the modifier, then this is what we're working with. So we're raycasting from this object here straight inwards along the normals. And if it hits, then if it hits the target object, I should say, then it sets the position of that hit of the band to that position on the target. So yeah, works pretty well as long as this isn't too steep. Seems to be working pretty well. Now, the real question is, how do we do it so that it takes into account more than one ribbon, like it did in the original? I think maybe I should subdivide it one more time. Oh, that's too much. I mean like this? Ooh, so close. I think if I make it a bit bigger. Kinda works. Wonder why. Can add some more geometry, see what happens. It doesn't like that. Oh, I see. That's okay. That's because at this point here, the origin is too far out. So it's raycasting at the wrong position. So you have to kind of move it along the shape, unfortunately. What's going on here? That's weird. Doesn't hit this. Should hit though. Maybe it's just because it's on edge. Yeah, okay. Cool. Need to break this down a bit though. Is there a way to have the center move with a node? Good question. I guess you could, if you use this, if this was like a curve, you could probably move it along that curve. And instead of have it like a mesh like this, you just use a another Geometry Nodes modifier for that one to turn the curve into a mesh and then use that as the target object. I'm gonna try that right away, actually. Because I'm curious, maybe that works. So I'm just gonna create a curve here. Something like this. So if you want to make a curve into a mesh, just do it like this. Create a curve. This is a mesh right now, so I'm just gonna mesh to curve. Yoink, and then curve to mesh. Then I'm gonna use a curve circle like this, and then I'm probably gonna resample the curve to maybe 20. Let's set it to set spline type. 10 is enough. Set the Bezier. Then set handle type. Auto. So we have a pretty smooth mesh here. We can drag down even more. Something like this. So I should be able to use this as the target object now. And if you do, I'm just gonna fill caps too. This fills here, pretty nice. I should be able to use this as the target object instead. So if I hide the cylinder, since I'm gonna try another object, I might as well move this out to this. So the thing is, every single thing that has like a circular input, you can use it as the input over here, pretty much. Even this. So if you connect this here from the input to the object that you're going to use in the object info node, you can select whichever object you want here. So I'm going to select the plane here. So now this plane is the or this curve is the target object. So we'll see if it works. It might not work. We'll see. I haven't tried it. But it does. And that should mean that you should be able to like use the spline parameter factor or length to move this. But I'm not 100% sure how I would do it, to be honest. Maybe a mix node or something? Mix RGB node? So you take the original position and just mix it with positions along. That doesn't work. Because I think you can translate instances along a curve pretty easily. But I'm not sure about objects like this. I might get back to that later. But I'm not sure, actually. I have to think about it. Oh yeah, one other cool thing about using Geometry Nodes as a way to make curves. The width of the wrap to the radius of the pipe. I'm not sure what you mean, because the original width is pretty pretty damn big, just to make sure that it wraps around properly. But I mean, you can drag it up, as long as you keep it inside. You can rotate it and stuff. It should follow. Like this. What I would recommend, if you want to do something like this, where the thing moves, where the thing moves through the ribbon, then I would animate first the thing going through, and then I would animate the positions of the ribbon manually, or at least using a curve that follows this. I probably wouldn't do it with geometry nodes. I probably use just regular, just like a regular animation. Keyframe it like usual. So something like this. If you have this here, and you have this here, so let's say location, and then over here, it's over here, location. Then we just have to go keyframe it, so at this point it should be like here or something. Location rotation, then go forward a bit, see if it breaks. Well, this won't be perfect either, but and 60, yeah. So that way you would have it to, would have it follow pretty nice. So geometry nodes is good for a lot of things, but it's not good for everything. And I think things like this is probably better left to do manually. That's my 2 cents on it, at least. Maybe there's a really good way to do it with geometry nodes that I haven't thought of. You can't really get the angle of the curve that way. You can get the tangent, but that's not the same, because the curve can be twisted inside itself and things like that, so you can't really trust that 100%. And it's probably a lot more work to do it that way with geometry nodes. I don't know, like I said, I don't know, I haven't tried it, but I have a feeling that it's much easier to just animate the positions and rotations of the ribbon itself manually. Because as long as you keep it inside of this, it should look okay. But it's definitely worth experimenting with, I think. I mean, there are ways to move things along a curve that's not geometry nodes. For example, so if you have a curve here, and then you convert it to a mesh, that curve can still be used, I think, in the curve... which one is it? This constraint, follow track, I think it is. Where you can have an object follow along a curve perfectly. So you can use the curve before the geometry nodes modifier and then, you know, have this follow that curve. That would be a way, I think. And then it should also align accordingly, like you asked. So I think that's probably the best way to do it, if you want to do it fairly procedurally. Because then you have a curve like this. I'm going to convert it to a curve before. And then I'm going to use this. So at this point you have your curve, but you should be able to use the constraint like follow track. No, follow. Which one is it? I never use it. Follow path, maybe. And then use that. I'm not 100% sure. I never used this, I think. well, whatever. You get my point. As long as it's still a curve, you can probably use it with the regular curve modifiers. But for now, I want to keep on with this ribbon, I think. Because there's one thing I haven't done yet. And that is to use multiple ribbons. Because I can copy this and just drag it, but it won't intersect with this one. Because this isn't considered in the Raycast. Now I think maybe I can use, instead of using an object info node, maybe I can use a collection info node. But I don't know, let's see, because I can just drag this in here and set it to relative. So if I use that one instead. Oh, I guess not, no. Oh, right, because this, oh, okay. So you can't use the collection info because the object that we're using is also in that collection. Okay. Okay, I get it. So what we need to do then is to... We probably need more than one object info node then, I guess. But that's fine, because we can just do this. Let's say we want 2 objects. And we want to use both. I'm thinking this should work, because if we do 2 separate object info nodes with 2 separate objects, and then join them, even though there are 2 separate objects, they should be considered to be the same geometry to the Raycast. I think. So this is the first one, and it has this plane object. And this would be the second one, which should also have the plane object. And it should also have the ribbon object. It worked! I can't believe that worked. Look, that's that's so cool. It actually worked. I can't believe that. That's so cool, because that means whenever you want more, you can just duplicate it again. Then we just add another one. We use this as a ribbon too then, because this is the one that's furthest out. It's a bit tricky, but it kind of works. Not as good as I hope, though. Oh wait, it's using itself. Ribbon 1. There! I was using the wrong one, of course. So I want ribbon and ribbon 1. There it is. Ah, so glad it worked. So if I duplicate it again, and then I take away all of these, and add another one. So I want to use the plane, the ribbon, ribbon 1 and ribbon 2. And I want to center that one. Ah, here's an issue. Because it's raycasting and it's hitting, I don't think it's enough geometry to do some proper bends here, because it's like before the subdivision surface here. Yeah, it's just these faces here. So it can't do some proper bends, unfortunately, which is a shame. I guess you could just add some more. That might help a bit. And if that doesn't work, you can always extrude it a bit more, make it a bit thicker, I guess. Okay, I think the magic number for this one is maximum of 2. 2 ribbons underneath. Like this, and then remove the cylinders, of course. Yeah, I'm just gonna delete that. Don't need it. Just in the way. So yeah, kind of have something similar to that one. And you can, yeah, you can angle it and everything. Oh, that looks so cool. Oh, I like that. That's so awesome. Way just follows along, right? Oh, whoop! You saw nothing. Nope. No clipping. Nothing to see here. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And this is how it looks without. There's notice, I think the... I just realized, I think the the inside faces are in the wrong way. Yeah, they are. These inside are not as they should. And that's because we're doing... Yeah, because without this we're just extruding out, so the original face is gone. And this is the original face and it's pointing in the wrong way, so flip faces. There, that's much better. That's how it should, that's how it's supposed to look. So this is without flipped faces, with the normals pointing the wrong way. Oh, sorry, without. This is with the faces pointing the wrong way. And this is the right way. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool too. You can even though the object in the middle is hidden, it still affects everything. I kind of like this. It's pretty cool. That's awesome. Change the raycast distance? Oh yes, you can. in the Raycast node, you can tell it how far you want it to go. So it's set to 100 meters by default, which is way too much. But if I set it to 1, they won't hit anything, so everything is 0. So that depends. If you want it to just be affected on certain distances, you can do that too. This can even be... it's a field input, which means that it can be unique per field. So it could be a unique length for each index or whatever you want. Pretty cool. That looks so weird. But yeah, just keep it along the center of whatever object you're using as the... Oh, that's awesome. That is so cool. Just how it adapts, you know? Like, look at this. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Fairly easy too, honestly. I mean, sure, there are a lot of a lot of object info inputs, but you know, the only thing that matters really is like this, or I guess this too. These nodes. Well, yeah, the Raycast, the only thing Raycast does really is it casts a ray in whatever direction you tell it. And then you have some information about that Raycast hit. So this tells if it hit a certain face. This tells you where that position of the hit was. This tells you the normal of that hit, so the direction that it's pointing outwards from. This is how far away from the source object that you hit. Attribute, I'm not sure exactly what that is. I think it's something you can just plug in here. So if you want a specific attribute from an object, you can plug it in here. So if you want like the index or any of these, I guess like the position or the index or material even. You can set it here, so color maybe, you want the color of something. Or the index or something, you just plug it in here, input index. And you get each index of everything you hit, pretty much from this. So it's pretty cool. You can do a lot of stuff with it. And regarding your question, you can extend that to create a little space between the surfaces. Yes, you can. So I'm gonna hide everything except the first ribbon. So right now I'm telling it to, okay, wherever you hit, wherever this ribbon hits, just set the position of that ribbon to that hit point. But there's also an offset, so you can use the hit normal. And you can use a vector math, multiply, or I guess scale is better. So if you take the hit normal, which is the normal of the face of the target object, which is one of these that you hit, and then you scale it by something like 0.1 and set the offset to that, you will get a little space. And you can control the size of that space with this. So if you want it inside, you can set it to negative. If you want it to be no space, set it to 0. Or if you want just a little bit, you can set it to like, I don't know, 0.1. So the operation works like this. It sets a position and then the offset is calculated. So if you have an offset connected to the set position node, it gets handled after the position is set. And since we have the normals of the hits, you can use that as the outwards vector. So good question, actually. Very nice. Good demonstration of things you can do with the Raycast node as well. I'm really curious how they did it in the original with the Houdini. Because that one was insane. It was like going over gaps and stuff. That wouldn't work here. Yeah, you can just keep dragging out stuff. Pretty nice, actually. Oh, this looks weird. Because it's hitting down here first. So it doesn't know what to do. That looks so weird. It's like this ribbon here just opens up. It's like a worm. I'm sorry, it's just so fun to play around with. It's so weird that it just follows along. But yeah, here's one limitation that's not very nice. Because here it's hitting this first. So the solution to that would probably be to just make it smaller. Like this. Then you need to keep it even more aligned. Yeah, pretty cool. I like the system. I wonder how well it works with shading though. Just gonna add a material to this just to see. So let's say maybe a canvas material. Okay, so by default this is UV, so no, that didn't work. Ribbon material. So they're all using the same material, but it isn't working with the UV. Yeah, of course it isn't, because when we're extruding the faces, then we're ruining the UV map, I think. So we won't be using any UVs. So I guess generated maybe? No. Object. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's better than nothing. Yeah, good enough. Some horned ribbons. Let's see, I just noticed something here. I think that... Oh, there isn't a default value. Good. So this one has... 1, 2... So there is room for one more ribbon. This is the last one. So we could copy it one more time. And use this as the last one. Make it a bit longer maybe. Yeah, something like that. Cool. It looks so weird. It just opens up. It's like... No, come in. There's room. Alright, anyway. Let's render something. Something like this, maybe? And I guess we could move this away a bit. It just follows along, it's cool. I like... Okay, neat. There's some depth of field as usual. Haha, I read my mind. Just empty it. Think that should be good. Great mind thinks alike, right? This is a pretty good angle. Modify these a bit. This is the second. No, it's the third. It's the first one. Oh, it's this one, okay. This should be like in the center. Something like this. I feel like I need a better angle. More interesting angle. Looked animated. Yeah. It's kind of finicky, but yeah, I think it should be. As long as it's following along with the target object, it should be fine. That's more like it. Okay. But yeah, it's like you said, it should be pretty stable as long as it's following along. The curve itself. Just need to look out for overhangs and stuff like that. Because if it goes too far here, things like this happen. That's not good. You have to rotate it before then. But it is possible to animate. It's probably not as straightforward as just animating it as usual, but with some finesse, you could probably make something cool with it, I think. Yeah. Let's see, let's add a sun lamp. Oh, it looks so fake. Very nice. Not a huge fan of that one. Yeah, that's better. Didn't like the stretching. I'm not a fan of the stretching here either, but it's acceptable, I think. Now maybe we could do something like a random color for each. It could be pretty cool. So if we like take a how would we do this? Because I'm thinking, is random value per unique object? Or is it the same for every Geometry Nodes instance? That is the question. We'll see. So now that I've added a random value as an output and give it in the name, I can use it in the shader with an attribute node. Just type in the name you gave it. You should be given something like this. So the factor is 1 or this or something. No, wait, this is just the entire. This is one value for each base. Does the object info work? Oh, I can just use the object info. Never mind. Don't need this. Forget I said anything. Seems you can just use the random from the object info node itself. But it does make sense, I guess, because there are different objects. Okay, fair enough. So this goes from 0 to 1. So we have one distinction there, one distinction here, I guess one here. So let's say we want one orange, and one that's like this maybe, one that's something like this, and one just gray. Pretty nice. These two colors are way too similar though. So I'm gonna change this one to something else. Maybe that. Yay. Pretty nice. Maybe it's worth to make them less thick as well. like 0.15 maybe. Oh no, clipping. Ugh. Okay, clipping solved. Yeah, I kind of like it. I want some more light on this side here. This. Bigger angle, maybe 25. Conference swag bracelets. Yeah, I like it. I like that idea. One day. But yeah, you could even, I mean, in my case here, I've just used a bunch of these here, but that's just because I want them to overlap each and every one. But I mean, you could use more. You have your separate thing over here, which is just overlapping each other over here instead. So you can have multiple of these. Then just add the number 5 there. So you can have like this, pretty cool. A bunch of separate knots or bundles of bands. Because as long as they are in the ones that are on top of each other are added to these, you can have more than these. You can have like up to how many you want, I guess. I think 4 is a good number. Because it doesn't look too cluttered. You gotta add more. You add some more over here in the bend. There's one more. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm sorry, but I think this is so freaking awesome. Even though it's so simple, but just the fact that it's following along these curves so well and give room to the other bracelets, and I don't know, just cool. Just like it. So I want one more here. And I want it on top of that one, so I'll just use this, and I guess, which one is this? 07? Like this, and then it just instantly works. It's just, it's so good. It's so fun to play around with. You can do some really cool stuff. I want another one here. Just make sure that it's not overlapping on weird places. Like for this, you could just make it a bit smaller so it doesn't go too far. And I want this to go on here. And I want it to affect the plane, and I want also this ribbon here. I think it's number 8 and also number 7. And number 8 and number 7. Something like this. I just noise. If you use the join geometry at the end, if you could get the Raycast interaction for free. How do you mean? With the where are you thinking? Over here? Somewhere? Because the problem is that the Raycast stuff is the first thing that happens. Which is why we have to, which is why I have to do these inputs. Not sure where, yeah. Yeah, the thing is you kind of need to join it right away before the Raycast. You could have as many of these as you want, as many inputs as you want. Because the Raycast is a pretty fast calculation anyway. It's one of the faster ones in Nodes. Modify and apply it over and over. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I see what you're thinking. You're thinking that you do just one input and you have for the first one you have just the pipe, and then for the second one you have the entire other thing. But that, yeah, the problem is you kind of need to apply the geonodes for that to work, I think. And you still need to have another, because you still need to have multiple inputs of objects. Because you would still need multiple objects, multiple ribbons. Maybe if you have all the ribbons as one object, but then they wouldn't intersect with themselves, or they would intersect with themselves and they would be ignored by the Raycast anyway. So that's unlucky. Maybe in the future when more nodes are added, you can do some more Houdini-like stuff. Because I think the original thing probably isn't using raycasting. It's probably using some sort of proximity stuff. That's my guess, at least. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm guessing. Yeah, that's usually the thing when you're doing stuff here with Geometry Nodes. You're like, yeah, that sounds pretty easy. Then you try it out and it's like, oh my god, where do I even start? And then sometimes you're like, huh, this looks like a really hard thing to do. And then you try it out, it's like, oh, it's like 5 nodes. Never mind. What's up, Javan? It's a clock wrap unode. Yeah, kinda. It's a ring that is then transformed into a ribbon. with intersections between different other ribbons. And they're very nice to each other, they make space to each other, and they all live in harmony. And it's extremely fun to play around with. This interaction, most of all, I like. Because this one is using this ribbon here as one of the Raycast objects, which means that this will always be on top of this one. So if I drag this in, it's always beneath. So you get this this weird interaction where it just opens up. Yeah, I really like it. It's pretty awesome. But I think this is kind of the extent of what you can do with it. It's working pretty well along some pretty steep curves, as long as the alignment of the ribbon is kind of similar to the alignment of the tube itself. But yeah, you can scale it up, you can scale it down, make it bigger, make it smaller. They kind of adapt. Not sure how viable it is to use. If you're trying to get some fast ribbons, you're probably better off with just... Well, then again, it might be a good thing. I might use it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's render this. I'm gonna change the color in the background though, I don't like that one. Maybe change the color of this one too. And this is a curve, so I need a set material for that one. Tube. Yeah, I mean, for arms and legs and stuff like that, like if you have an armor piece on your leg or on your body or something, and you just wanted to wrap around that very nicely, then yeah, this is probably one of the better systems to use. Because it's kind of like it's like the shrink wrap, but you have more control, because like I showed before, you can use this thing here to have it offset from the base itself. And if you have a high poly ribbon as the base, then you get some really fine-tuned wraparounds. Because these are just like, yeah, 2 rows of faces. It's like nothing. And still it wraps around pretty well. So if you triple the geometry on this one, or even quadrupled, I mean, it should be wrapping around fairly good. The problem, of course, is now it's too aligned. Yeah, I think it could be good for something like that. Yeah, wrapping around stuff around the character, or as long as there aren't any overhanging stuff or any gaps, because then it doesn't work. Because then you get this. And that's not so good. That's not the best. So any gaps in between does not work at all. Because all of these that are missing the tube, they just get centered around this point here. But the faces or points around the ones that aren't hitting anything, they're kind of dragged along, so it doesn't look doesn't work very well with that. So you know, knowing the limitations of the system is good. That's how you use it properly. Oh, really? That's interesting. Oh, convex hull, nice. That's actually pretty clever. Isn't that just a cube, though? Or am I thinking of bounding box? Because you have the convex hull, right? Ooh, yikes. Yeah, you get something different, because this is like... This goes from here to here, so just... Yeah. I think you could use it for... if you have more than one cylinder, but I think they have to be pretty... similar in angle and width. That's definitely something worth looking into. Procedural venom goo. Yeah, I've seen a couple of different approaches to that one. I saw one that was really insanely complex, and if you did it with Geometry Nodes now, it would probably be a lot easier. But they used like a... I think they used like a fluid simulation, and then used a... I think like a proximity object or something, to determine which ones, which points inside that fluid simulation should be used. And then they used some sort of remeshing stuff. It was, ugh, it looked super heavy. Now that you mentioned Venom, I actually did, right when I started using Blender for the first time. Let me see if I have it saved here on my Instagram. Because I was doing all kinds of stuff with just regular modifiers. Yeah, okay, here. So I saw a clip, probably Houdini or something, of like a creature running around on the walls of like a aquarium or something. So I tried to recreate that, and my approach was to use hook modifiers and drivers, and I had no idea what I was doing. So this took like forever to like mess around and experiment. And it's so needlessly complex, and it doesn't really look good at all. But I remember when I saw this, I was like, oh, I'm so I'm so satisfied with this one. Yeah, back then I didn't know how to properly use Eevee either, so it looks like crap. The quality is garbage. This was a fun project, even though it looks terrible. Right, let's render this one out. I think we're gonna add some emission to this as well. Get a bright background. Something like that. Let's see, 128 should be good. Ah, spider covered in white fungus. That sounds horrible. Sounds like nightmare fuel or something. I think I'm gonna, actually, before I move on, I'm gonna increase the scale of these to like 5. Oh, that's too much. 1.5. Make it a bit smaller. Then yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, you can't see my render window. That sucks. Can I add that somehow? Window capture. New. Good reference material. Good reference material to go to bed and wake up with nightmares. There we go. Pretty nice. Into compositing. So one trick I usually do, oops, with everything is just to add a distort, lens distortion, enable fit, very important, and do like 0.01 on both. Makes it look a little bit more interesting. What's going on with this ribbon though? It's green. Need to change the green. Something else. Yellow. Okay, which color should this one be? It can't be green. Guess white would work. Nah. Yellow, maybe? Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah. Hot pink. I like the way you think. Yes, I actually like that. That's very nice. Vignette? Yeah, maybe. I think I need to up the render samples as well. I think 128 is not enough. Can you add a vignette in here? I rarely do compositing here. guess you could use like that's too much work. Good idea, sorry. At least I'm gonna up the render to like, I don't know, 512. Use some tiling. And maybe, I think this looks really weird. Yeah, something like that. And render. I know there is a way, or I think there is a way to do UV maps, proper UV maps in Geometry Nodes, but I haven't looked into it. So I guess I have to live with these weird distortions. But they're not that bad. And yeah, I think hot pink was the correct choice. It looks great. Hot pink. Okay, sweet. Looks pretty nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. That turned out pretty good. So let's see, before I go, I just want to make sure that you can see the nodes properly. If you want to copy it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a reason why synthwave and stuff is using blue and hot pink. Because it looks so damn good. So let's see, I'm just gonna organize this a bit here so it's easier to see. This goes here, extrude goes here. We're using the and scaling, flipping these faces. And we're merging by distance, subdivision surface, shading smooth, setting material, and then it's done. So this is the node tree. So if you want to try it out yourself, I'm actually gonna take a pic of this. Ribbon stream notes. So there it is. So thank you for stopping by and hanging out. I really enjoy chatting with you. And I really like the questions. Because it makes me think. That's good. You never know what you discover when you start thinking. So, I'll see you guys next time. Not sure when. 2 weeks maybe? Oh yeah, sure. This video will be, as soon as I stop streaming here, it will be available to watch on my channel. So you can watch it anytime. All right. Oh, nice. First stream. It's on my second stream, so 50%, pretty good. Oh, damn. Yeah, that sucks. I'm not sure where most of the people who watch my stuff is from, to be honest. I think... oh, bye. What's his name? Frizztalk? Catch you next time. But yeah, I don't know where most of the people are from. I think US is fairly common, but I don't know. This time works pretty well for me since I have time to get home and eat before. But I'm open to streaming other times too, if it works better for more people. So yeah, when would be good for you? Like, okay, 3:50 AM is pretty damn early, so I don't know. Maybe I should stream, I don't know, later so you get time to sleep, or earlier. So, but I can't earlier because I'm working. Florida, US, you're US. Yeah, I kind of feel like most of the people who watch my stuff is from the great United States. Maybe Saturdays would be a better day to do it, because I'm thinking it has to be like 2 in the afternoon for you guys, right? In the US. At least if you're in Florida, you have to be like, or maybe like 3 in the afternoon. You're used to being late. It's the price you have to pay for being Australian. I'm sorry. Norge. Nice. I was in Norway last week actually. I just drove by though. On my way to Dalarna. Oh, Spain. Hola. Okay, so it's pretty spread out. That's fun. It's about 2 now, right? Yeah. So you're like 6 hours behind. And Australia is like 8 hours ahead. So it's a pretty big spread on time zones. Yeah, we drove by just a quick detour because we we took the wrong way. We ended up in Norway. And then we saw the signs for the tolls and we were like, oops. I think we need to go back to Sweden pretty quick. Oh, it isn't more than 3 hours difference between West and East? That's crazy. I thought it was more. Since US is so wide. Interesting. So 11 AM, yeah, it's just lunchtime for them. I'm thinking I should try, next time I will probably do it on a Saturday though. Just to try out, see how it works. I'm thinking it's probably easier to do it on a Saturday for most people. We'll see, it's a learning process. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Really fun to talk to you. And I hope I see you sometime in the future on another stream. So take care everyone. And I'll see you.